and welcome to my channel about living in and moving to Denver, Colorado. So many people are asking, what is happening with the Denver metro real estate market? We're going to be covering that today. Let's get into it. Hey, I'm Katie Bartnow, also known as the Real Estate Gal. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, welcome. I cover all things about the Denver metro, places to live, things to do, events to attend, and I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you get notified every time I release a video, which is twice a week. And as mentioned, my nickname is Katie the Real Estate Gal. If you need help with buying, selling, or anything in between, I'm your gal, would love to help guide you. And so here is my contact information below. Call, text, or email, whatever is best for you. Now, I have a lot of people asking, what is happening with the Denver real estate market? Like, houses are just flying off the shelf, right? And people are like way overbidding. And that's definitely not the case anymore. That was happening last year and earlier in the beginning of this year. But as interest rates go up, then a lot of buyers are leaving the market and a lot of sellers are holding because they wouldn't be able to sell their home for top dollar and get a deal on their current home. Kind of have to choose between one or the other. So we're going to be covering a lot of things such as days on market, what you can expect for showings, what's happening with pricing, supply and demand, and then the most popular question, when is the best time to buy? Now, the first thing that I want to cover that I really want to cautious a lot of people on is when you're listening to national news, when you hear things such as Elon Musk talking about the real estate market and when is a good time to buy and sell. And then on Good Morning America, I saw Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank chiming in on different strategies for the real estate market. Now, you can absolutely listen to these statistics, but just remember and know what you're actually hearing. So the Denver metro is going to be so much different than Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is going to be so much different than South Carolina. So if you really want statistics, make sure that you are hyper focused in the area that you are considering, such as the zip code, the city, the county, and not just hear things on the national news and just think like right now is really not a good time to buy because each market is so specifically different. Now, another thing to keep in mind as well is that historical data isn't as relevant as current trends that we're seeing in the market. So what happened last year in 2022 or 2021 or even prior to that is going to be significantly different, and the information might be stretched and skewed compared to what is actually going on right now and what we're seeing with trends. So what we're going to be covering right now are trends that we're seeing right now in the present, and what that's going to do is to set buyers and sellers up with better expectations so they aren't surprised that, their home isn't selling in the first weekend, or it's actually a lot more difficult to buy or even a lot easier than what they originally thought. So one thing that I personally like to do is to sit down with somebody or do a Zoom call and go over what we're seeing in the market so that we set up for expectations and then people aren't angry at the different types of results or get frustrated and essentially shut down because what they thought was happening in the market actually isn't. So we cover those in the buyer's presentation or listing presentation to set everybody up for success and to prepare for the worst and then hope for the best. Talking about days on market. So how long a house sits in the MLS, the multiple listing service, is what I'm referring to as an active sale. So currently in the Denver metro area, and this is including attached style homes such as townhomes and condos, as well as detached, which is essentially like a single family home. So taking in consideration those two styles of homes, as well as the 7 different counties that are in the Denver metro region. So I have them all listed right here. So again, this is a pretty broad look into these statistics. If you want to hyper focus in on a certain zip code or a certain neighborhood, I have a drawing tool, I have heat maps, I have all sorts of different resources that we can really zoom in a micro level to really analyze data and get a more in-depth view than just scratching the surface. So anyway, back to these 7 counties, we are at 7 days on market. So a house is sitting active for a median of 7 days. Now, a lot of the homes that I see that are flying off the shelf, if you will, or going under contract on the first weekend are going to be turnkey, ready to move in style homes. First impressions are so important. If you want to sell quickly, to have really great photography, it goes a super long way because it's not actually curb appeal that people see typically. So if you're driving the neighborhood looking for open house signs or for sale signs, that's a little bit more of an old school way. I don't necessarily have to explain that. People are looking on Zillow, Trulia, on the MLS, they see the photos first, and that's really what is going to get people through the front door. So good quality photos are super duper important. Having the house professionally cleaned is really going to go a long way. Staging if necessary, bringing in furniture to make the house look so aesthetically pleasing that people can envision themselves living there with their own personal belongings is a great sales tactic. Then there are some homes that the seller doesn't want to do a single thing to. They don't want to clean it. They have some really sketchy photos. I just saw one that had 15 Gatorade bottles in the bedroom on the floor. It was a very interesting meme that I saw online, but some people don't have the same priorities. They might want to sell the house and they may have accommodated crappy photos and they have lowered the price to get people through the door or interested. But not all sellers are created equal and not all real estate agents are created equal. Another thing that is going to sell a house pretty dang quick is to list it appropriately. What I mean by that is listing the price appropriately. Look at the comparable homes in the area. Look at the different conditions that the homes are in. Are they well kept? Are they run down? Do they need updating? Finding homes with similar bedrooms and bath, as well as plus or minus 20% square footage within a half-mile radius. Those are little tips that I've picked up from appraisers, and that's what they look for when they are pricing a home. So pricing the home appropriately, people can kind of tell if you're overpricing a home, you're not going to get a lot of foot traffic. If you slightly underprice a home, you're going to get a little bit more foot traffic and then potentially create bidding wars because multiple people are interested in the home and submitting offers.
Shut up and take my money.
There's all sorts of different types of strategies that you can do to sell a home quickly, but maybe the seller's goal isn't to sell quickly. Maybe it's to get absolute top dollar for the home. Or maybe they're fine advertising and selling to an investor where they know that the house needs $30,000 of work and they want to negotiate a quick close with a cash offer. It all depends on the home. So that is also one thing that your real estate agent should be doing for you if you are a buyer, is they should be calling the listing agent and finding out what is most important to that seller, so then the buyer can cater their offer to that and then win the offer. So we are in Q2 of 2023. If you're watching this video in real time, then these stats are the most accurate. If you're watching in a month, these stats have definitely changed. So reach out to me and I can update you on that. But anyway, so 28% of the homes that are active had a price reduction, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the home was overpriced. The seller may have panicked because they were on market for 1 week, the house didn't go under contract, and so the seller wants something to move a little bit quicker or had different expectations, and so they may have dropped the price in order to entice people to advertise that they're getting a sale or a deal. And then another pricing statistic for the Denver Metro, 27% of the homes that are active are under $500,000 purchase price, and between $500,000 and $1 million, there's about 60% of the homes are within that price range. Now, in terms of supply, we are still in a seller's market, which means that there are so little homes and so many buyers that the sellers are essentially sitting in the driver's seat. So, like I said, in Q2 of 2023, we're at 4,700 homes in the Denver metro area that are active listings. Now, for a balanced market, we would need about 24,000 homes. So 1 month's inventory, also another way to say that is if we sold all of the 4,700 homes that are active. It would take 1 month to be completely out of homes. So a balanced market is 6 months of inventory. So we're still in a seller's market despite the interest rates being a little bit higher. And currently they're in the 6 to 7% range, but luckily that's not deterring all buyers. If you're in a good position and you can afford the monthly payment, the beauty of looking at homes right now is that you can actually get a home that you have fallen in love with. So one of the things that we saw earlier last year was when interest rates were at the 2% or 3% rate, the government is essentially giving away free money, and that's not good for the economy in the long run. And there were some buyers that just really wanted to take advantage of that super low interest rate, and so they were putting offers and buying homes that they didn't necessarily love. Maybe they loved the location and they just didn't like the house, or vice versa. They just wanted to get into a house some way, somehow, because those interest rates were making it so affordable. Now, what we're finding out right now is that people love that interest rate, but they don't love the home. And if they bought it in a bad location is one thing that you can't change, unfortunately. And then sometimes people would love the location and despised the home, and then the house renovations are going to be pretty costly. But during that time, you really had to act quickly. There was some homes that they would hit the market and they would literally go under contract within hours because people were overbidding and overpaying just to take advantage of that super low interest rate. So now, because homes are not flying off the shelf that fast anymore, people can actually go and see a home, fall in love with the home, submit an offer, as long as that monthly payment is affordable, even though you're getting a 6 to 7% interest rate. When rates lower, and of course I don't have a crystal ball, so we can only hope that rates are going to lower, and we did just hear news that rates are projected to go back down to hopefully the 4s, but maybe the 5s, then what you can do is refinance and make that monthly payment even more affordable. Then in a really quick segue into showings, we are seeing about 2.8 showings on average per home. So competition is not very big right now. So let's say interest rates are 7%, let's say. Now they are changing by the hour, sometimes by the day. They are changing all the time. So speaking with a lender ahead of time before going to see the house is so incredibly important. Getting that letter and that pre-approval so that when you do submit an offer, your offer is just that much stronger. But then also the buyer knows that they can afford these monthly payments because you've already gone through all of the steps. Now a lender, it's going to seem pretty invasive, and they're going to be looking at your past tax records, your pay stubs, your debt to income ratio, all these different things and all these different numbers. But what they can do is they can run scenarios so you're not falling in love with a home that you potentially can't afford. So getting that letter ahead of time before going to see the home is super incredibly important, and making sure that you can afford these monthly payments. So if you're in this situation, you are sitting pretty and in the best spot. Now, as I was saying, if interest rates are, let's just say in 7% right now, if they drop to 6%, 5 million buyers enter the market. If it drops to 5%, an additional 5 million buyers enter the market. That is a lot of people that you are now competing with because it's more affordable. More people can then be qualified. And then we're going to get into a very similar situation about competition going up. Homes are going to be flying off the market a little bit quicker than they are right now. And then we might be in a similar situation of you just want to put an offer in on a house because you might get exhausted from all the competition that we're seeing. So if you are able to afford a home for the payments that the interest rates are at currently, I would highly encourage you to open the conversation with a lender. Let's talk about what your goals are. Are you trying to get top dollar, trying to sell as fast as you can? I want to be a resource for you. I'd absolutely love to do that with you and help you, guide you through the process. And then the long-awaited question of when is the best time to buy? I have a couple different answers for this. So currently, and I'm not just saying this to toot my own horn or to get business, I truly am in this business to help other people achieve their goals. The best time to buy really is right now. Competition is pretty low. As long as you can afford those monthly payments, I'd highly encourage you to entertain that option. Another couple other little tips would be to look on holiday weekends. There are a lot of people that go to the mountains, that go to the beach, that are hanging out with family and friends. They're not focused on the housing market. And so to go on a weekend, such as July 4th weekend, and search for homes that are available, the people that are selling during that time need to sell for some reason. So when competition is low, then you can potentially get a good deal. Now, another time which is not predictable is the inclement weather. So if there is an open house and it is a super stormy, rainy day, some people might say, you know what, I'm gonna look tomorrow instead of today. So if you take advantage of going out in inclement weather, of course, be safe and careful, and you submit an offer that same day and it's attractive to that seller, you may have just scored yourself a good deal. So that's why I always encourage holidays and inclement weather to go out searching. Now, it goes without saying, if you need help with anything real estate related, if you want a hyper-focused view on any zip code, neighborhood, area, city, county, whatever you need, I would love to be a resource for you. So please reach out with my contact information below. I'd love to help you navigate Denver Metro or in Colorado. So please let me know how I can help, and we'll see you soon.